Accolades for Kenyan athlete Hellen Obiri for winning the New York City Marathon on Sunday in a time of 2 hours, 27 minutes and 23 seconds.
Raging floods have killed 17 people and over 1,000 livestock so far, with close to 11,000 families displaced as rains continue to pound different parts.
Meanwhile, Pope Francis calls for an end to the Hamas-Israel conflict, urging the release of hostages and humanitarian aid for Gaza as the death toll continues to rise.
A lot of sad news this morning, but there's something to smile about. Congratulations to Hellen Obiri for winning the New York Marathon. Well, another accolade for another great Kenyan athlete.
And also for Manchester United.
We'll talk about Manchester later. Football is not really that important this morning. We celebrate our Kenyan athlete. Also, we continue with our Christmas countdown this morning. 49 days left to Christmas Day. How about that? Below 50 now.
I know, and you know, I've walked in the studio this morning and I've seen a Christmas tree somewhere, and I was like, 49 days somewhere.
I haven't seen it. I've seen it too. I've seen it too. Good morning and welcome to this edition of Morning Cafe. My name is Fred Indimuli.
And I'm used to standing in Ringita. Our home girl, Flora Lemuki, is away for today. So definitely, Zoe is sauti for today.
Yeah, not to worry.
Most definitely. And it's a Monday, so this particular Monday, as we do it, some health and also fitness. But today, we're focusing on matters health as we discuss matters pneumonia. So we'll be discussing that around 8 a.m. But for the whole discussion from around 6:30 matters state of the nation.
Oh, yes, and today we'll be focusing on impeachment threats against a number of governors, sitting governors. So we'll be having a panel of members from county assemblies across the country. Do stand by for that conversation.
Oh, yes.
For now, let's take a look at the top story. And we kick off this with some news. Breaking news, 10 people have died this morning in a grisly road accident along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway. The accident, which occurred a few minutes past 3 a.m., involved a 14-seater matatu and a trailer which collided along the Ngata-Salga stretch. It is believed that the matatu was heading towards Nakuru while the trailer was heading to Eldoret. Those injured were rushed to the Nakuru Level 6 hospital, and we'll be bringing you more details as soon as we receive them. Let's now get the day's diary. Yes, Stanley, you have the day's diary?
Oh yes, but even as I cross over to the day's diary, may the souls rest in eternal peace. Remember, more details will be coming in as we continue, and this also forms our day's diary this morning. Other stories on the day's diary and other highlights on today's diary, much as KCSE exams, focusing largely on it. Today is quote-unquote officially starting because today is the chemistry paper, and a number of students will be starting their theory paper of chemistry as well as mathematics today. And even as we flip, still on much as KCSE exams, This particular morning, Kenya National Examinations Council CEO Dr. David Njogere will be witnessing the opening of a container for the exams at Kiambu Deputy County Commissioner's Office, well as early as right now, 6 a.m. Meanwhile, Basic Education Principal Secretary Dr. Belio Kipsang is expected to supervise distribution of this KCSE exam materials at Westlands sub-county container right here in Nairobi. But away from matters examinations, today the committee of the National Dialogue Committee is scheduled to hold discussions with the State Department of Housing to address the impact of the Housing Levy Fund, as well as expected to see officials from the Ministry of Energy and the National Treasury set to make appearances following recent concerns regarding the financial operations of the Treasury that resulted in some budget allocations being inflated. That is just a highlight of our diary this morning. Let's take a look at today in history. We begin back in 1860 in the United States of America. And in 1860, Americans elected the President Abraham Lincoln, whose victory led to the secession of southern states. And just last year, in 2022, right here in Africa, right in East Africa, at least 19 people lost their lives after a commercial flight operated by Precision Air crashed into Lake Victoria in Tanzania. That is a day's diary, and also today in history. Remember, this diary will be updated around 9 a.m. in our county diary and also focusing on the international diary. But first, let's dig into the dailies this morning. Further Standard.
Yes, a very interesting headline on the Standard this Monday. How not to bring down cost of living. That's the big headline on the Standard today. They call it Rutonomics. Economy experts fall to the president's approach to taxation and cost of living, saying the policies will only sink the country deeper in the mire and push many to avoid paying taxes, which will ultimately make life unbearable. This story has been extensively covered on pages 4 and 5 of the Standard. How not to bring down cost of living. What's interesting there. The other big headline on the front page of the Standard, IEBC reforms versus right of representation. At least 7 regions are scheduled to hold by-elections. However, without a fully constituted electoral commission, Kenyans in these places go without a fundamental right. That story is on page 8. And a list of people who vacated their elected positions either through death or through court petitions, resulting in the need for by-elections. And we have MP Kulo Hassan Maalim of March, who died in March 29th. He's a UDM member. We do have other MCAs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wards who vacated for one reason or the other, requiring this by-elections. Other stories given prominence on the front page of the Standard today. NEP leaders call for help amid flooding. Whereas the current rains have been downgraded from the El Nino type for Northeastern, they're causing a humanitarian crisis. The story is on page 6, and from one of our highlights, the death toll so far, according to the Kenya Red Cross, is 17, with about 1,000 plus livestock also dead. In matters health, low sperm count, blame the phone. Globally, the quality of the sperm has been compromised. While this has been attributed to environment factors, scientists are now saying mobile phone habits are to blame for the latest drop. I need to read this story.
And interestingly, I love how they call it the pull-out, page 3. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, so definitely a must read for you on page 3 there. Probably keep your phones away.
I guess we'll have to. The other highlights on the front page of the Standard are located on the top strip. The winners and losers as dialogue team wraps up. Stories on page 2. On the international scene, being a mother in Gaza, a matter of life and death. It's on the world, page 21. And in sports, it's a long, lonely walk for Arteta. That's the story on the back page. That's the story on page 31. On the back page, will Pochettino spar Tottenham past Chelsea? Tottenham are 2 points clear at the top spot. Leaders Spurs face acid test when they face Chelsea at 11 p.m. tonight. Interesting. Matter sports.
Oh, yes. Let's cross over to Daily Nation now. And another day for them focusing on the poll, the InfoTrack poll. They had started with, women rep. They had also focused on MCAs, now MPs. And they have plastered a number of photos of members of parliament here. And they say best 150 MPs. So majority of Kenyans think MPs have performed well since they were elected into office last August, with the Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro topping the charts, according to a new InfoTrack poll. But what have these legislators done to rank highly? So they have all that from page 2, 3, and also on page 4. So 70% is what Kiharu MP Nyoro Ndindi has. Just a highlight of others there, 68%. Peter Irungu, Murigi John Paul, 66%. Having the same 66% is Gideon Mutemi of Mwingi Central, Christopher Aseko of Kwisero, Kathiani MP, Mbui Robert, Kaluma Peter of Homa Bay, and now 65% there. Quite a number, Makali Benson, Geoffrey Wandeto, or rather Wandeto, Githua Kamau, Omar Mwinyi with 64%, Kasipul MP, Were Charles, 64%, Salasia Peter, 64%, oh yes. There is Mumias East MP, and Chuka Igambangombe, Patrick Munene, 64% also, Tessa North MP, Edward Kaunya, 63%, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 MPs here listed. Chepalungu MP, Victor Kipngetich, Undai MP, 63%, Damson Mwashako, Mwala MP, Vincent Musyoka, Kabuchai MP, Kalasinga Majimbo, and Lesuda Naisula, 63%, Kibwezi West, Mutuse Ekomas Mwingi. And interestingly, Naisula is the only woman MP I can see on this front page. Oh, yes.
Congratulations to her.
Congratulations to Lesuda making it here. But again, it raises the whole question of why are we seeing few women MPs listed here? But then from page 2, 3, and 4, you can read more on that. We're talking about matters HIV, not really focused on the front page of Kenyan dailies. Well, today it is on the front page of Daily Nation. On the bottom strip, 9 counties record surge in new HIV cases. They have a number there, 17,680. So out of the 17,680 new HIV infections among adults, 41% are aged between 25 and 34. 9 counties have recorded a surge in HIV prevalence, posing a threat to their push to attain zero infections by 2027. A state agency has revealed. The National Endemic Diseases Control Council, NSDCC, has flagged Homa Bay, Siaya, Kisumu, Migori, Kisii, Mombasa, Samburu, Vihiga, and Uasin Gishu as the most affected counties in its latest report. It's interesting that we are a few days to World AIDS Day on the 1st of December. So this data will really be crunched more and more on the World AIDS Day. So, this conversation will be going on and will really form now on the World AIDS Day. This will be the front page of that. But other highlights given prominence on the front page of Daily Nation, on the right strip there, matters impeachment. Kawira's moment of truth as Senate decides her fate. So embattled Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza is facing a make-or-break week at the Senate as her 2-day impeachment trial starts tomorrow. So it's a 2-day, Tuesday and also on Wednesday. That is on page 6. Matters rains there. El Nino weatherman now warns of heavy rains in the country, has warned Kenyans to brace themselves for more heavy rains for the next 3 months, warning of flooding and landslides in several parts of the country. Meanwhile, UK envoy, we are open to talks on reparations. So the UK is open to discussing with communities that suffered at the hands of the colonial security operators for possible compensation. That is according to High Commissioner Neil Wigan. You can read that on page 6, or rather page 7. And finally, on the back page, they call it a sweet victory. Kenya's Helen Obiri celebrates winning the New York City Marathon yesterday. A compatriot and defending champion Sharon Lokedi was third. And in a nutshell, that is the front page of Daily Nation.
Tuangazie gazeti la Taifa Leo asubuhi ya leo. Wabunge wachapa kazi, habari sawia na ile ilipo kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa Daily Nation. Wabunge wachapa kazi, Nyoro aongoza kitaifa, huku Lesuda akitawazwa mbunge bora mwanamke nchini. Utafiti huu ulifanyika kati ya Julai na Septemba mwaka huu katika maeneo bunge yote 290 na watu zaidi ya 58,000 kuhojiwa, na ulilenga kujua utendakazi wa viongozi kwa mujibu wa tathmini ya wakazi. Habari kamili kwenye ukurasa wa 4. Kwingineko, kilio mafuriko yakisababisha vifo, uharibifu. Habari zingine, mbwa msambazaji mkuu wa minyoo kwa binadamu. Utafiti waonyesha nyama na mifupa vichinjioni inayoliwa na mbwa ina minyoo. Pale juu, masuala ya spoti, Chelsea na Spurs ni gozi la kufa mtu, huku Tottenham wakiwania kurudi kileleni mwa EPL. Chelsea wanalenga kujifufua. Habari yenyewe kwenye ukurasa wa 20. Na magavana kushtakiwa kuhusu NSSF. Jumla ya shilingi bilioni 4.6 zimekatwa wafanyikazi ila hazijawasilishwa kwa NSSF. Na hizo ndizo habari zilizopewa kipaumbele kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa Taifa Leo.
All right, let's talk money matters now on Business Daily. The big story there is layoffs rise to COVID levels on higher taxes, fuel costs. So 400 managers say job cuts are in response to low sales. 1.72 million workers lost jobs at the peak of the pandemic. It's a whole survey there. On the bottom strip, matters markets. 42% of foreign investors flee NSE in 9 months. They have a whole graph there from 2000, well, the whole numbers there between December and December last year up to September this year. Other stories on the right side of that ticker, how state agencies will share seized dirty cash. So 2 enforcement agencies will be among the beneficiaries of dirty cash seized by a state, which means that forfeited monies will no longer be held at a KCB account by the Asset and Recovery Agency. And on matters trends on page 12, eateries cut back on outsourced delivery as they seek direct contact with customers. And finally there, how costly inputs have choked productivity in Kenya's agriculture. That is on matters markets there. On their live pull-out page, mad love for ride in the wild. Oh yes, reminds me some of us who really haven't grasped the ability to ride a bicycle, and we're still comfortable with it.
Oh no, you don't know how much you're missing out. Let's move on to the People Daily. On the People Daily this morning, arrest exposes rot in police station. Matters graft, anti-graft agency swoop opens lead on routine arbitrary seizure and extortion of Kenyans over petty offences by chain of officers seeking promotions on basis of bribes collected for their bosses. And they have a picture there of the police IG, Hilary Mutyambai. No, rather, Japheth Koome. I beg your apology for that. And Police Chief Koome there above, and CS Ocheng was arrested. The other big story on the front page of the People Daily, Obiri savors glory in New York Marathon, and a picture of her immediately after her victory. On the top strip of the People Daily, 17 killed by heavy rains, 15 injured. This is attributed to that report by Kenya Red Cross. And matters examination, leakage questions linger as 900,000 sit KCSE exam. These are the stories given prominence on the front page of the People Daily this Monday.
Let's focus on the Star, and big names miss out as MP Nyoro tops new ranking is a big story. And talks about InfoTrack report mentions only top half of performing lawmakers. They have that story extensive on page 4 as well as page 5. Also talking about matters backlash, MPs have previously accused pollster of skewed poll. So, well, it's a give and take on this. On the bottom page there, we have an interesting photo of Mother Nature's rage. So this residents of Kageraini village in Kinangop constituency assisting a disabled miner across a flooded section of a road which has recorded heavy rains in the last 3 days. This picture that was taken yesterday. So farm produce worth millions of shillings have been left to rot in farms due to the flooding. Well, state urged to act fast before lives are lost. In matters politics, on the right strip, Azimio MPs back Kalonzo for 2027 polls. A section of Azimio MPs have rallied behind Wape Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka to fly the coalition's flag in 2027 battle with the President Ruto. 8 legislators drawn from ODM, Jubilee and Wipe on Saturday drummed up support for former VP, whom they termed as the best bet to unseat Ruto. In matters justice served, a man who is 70 years old gets his land after a 10-year battle with the 2 state agencies. On the top strip, no rift, we are good. DP Gachagua dismisses talk of fallout with Ruto. That is on page 7. And that is the front page of the Star.
Let's now shift focus and take a look at what's headlining in the region. We start off with the East African, the big headline on the East African this morning and throughout this week. How Uganda AGOA ban will impact EAC. The economic effects are forecast to spill over to the regional trading partners as a value chains are heavily integrated. The story has been covered on pages 4 and 5 of the East Africa. The East African, how Uganda AGOA ban will impact EAC. Also on the front page, a photo of President Paul Kagame there receiving his Tanzanian counterpart Samia Suluhu Hassan at the 23rd World Travel and Tourism Council General Summit in Kigali, Rwanda on November 2nd. That was last week on Thursday, I think. Other highlights on the front page of the East African, why Kenya got cut off Kampala oil supply deal. Uganda is upset that it was kept in the dark about the government-to-government deal with 2 Gulf states. Elsewhere, envisaged benefits of Ruto's visa waiver. The country expects more trade and visitors, even as it hopes for reciprocal gestures. And that's the front page of the East African. Tuvuke border sasa.
Tukivuka border in Kampala, in Uganda. Shocking news there. Director arrested over defiling 6 primary 7 pupils. This is matters of investigations. Police are holding a director of a primary school in Luaro district of allegations that he defiled 6 pupils due to sit their primary leaving examinations on Wednesday, and that he even procured abortion for one of the victims. That is on page 4. On the bottom there, they have a photo. There is a bridge at Bunga Soya area, in Baga Road in Kampala. That was cut off on Friday. Talk about matters working on the city roads, really disrupt transport. On the right strip there, Museveni's plan to lower cost of fuel. Museveni says the new plan by government to take over importation of fuel will eliminate middlemen. On the top there and above it, we now have suspects in Kagezi killing. That is according to Ugandan President Museveni. On the top strip of Daily Monitor, matters regional. 5 government officials in hot water for leaving drugs in rain. And the Healthy Living Pullout magazine, how to handle prostate cancer. The most common cancer affecting older men can be treated once diagnosed early. That is on page 16. Costing 2,000 Ugandan shillings and about 174 Kenyan shillings.
Wow. Tuvuke boda twende Tanzania. Tuangazie gazeti la Mwananchi. Habari kuu pale, vigogo kitanzini. Azimio la bunge. lataja mawaziri, makatibu wakuu wa taasisi na wakurugenzi wa halmashauri wajitafakari na kuchukua hatua kabla ya uamuzi wa rais. Pia ni wale waliotajwa au taasisi zao kukutwa madudu ya kwenye ripoti ya mdhibiti wa mkaguzi mkuu wa hesabu za serikali. Hiyo ndio habari kuu kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa jarida la Mwananchi kule Tanzania. Habari zingine kwenye ukurasa wa mbele: asimulia alivyoishi hospitalini miaka 16. Kwingineko, sherehe popote, kuna picha pale naonyesha wanafunzi wa kidato cha 4 katika shule 7 za sekondari za Islamic jijini Dar es Salaam wameketi kwenye maji mafuriko. Mafuriko yako Kenya, pia kule Tanzania. Na habari zaidi ya mvua kubwa hadi Novemba 9. Kidokezo pale kwenye ukurasa wa mbele. Vidokezo vingine: wakikosoa serikali vita vya ukahaba. Masuala nyeti kule Dar es Salaam.
Wazungumzia jinsi Dar es Salaam inatafuta mbinu za kutumiwa na serikali kukomesha.
Pale juu kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa Mwananchi, usugu wa dawa vimelea tishio kuu la afya. Na kwingineko kwenye masuala ya spoti, Yanga yapeleka kilio Msimbazi mabao 5-1. Kilio kweli. Na hizi ndizo habari zilizopewa kipaumbele kule Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa Mwananchi.
Similar highlights on the front page of the Citizen that also reflect on Mwananchi, but the big story is why Tanzania's economy is projected to grow by 6.1%. For the past weeks that we've really been reviewing Tanzanian papers, they always have positive, it's like they're really hoping for the economy to grow, for the tourism to also grow.
They're very optimistic.
Yes, optimistic was the word I was looking for. So ongoing strategic projects, security of investors' capital, and PPPs are among factors outlined by the government for Tanzania's 6.1% economic growth projected by the International Monetary Fund. That is on page 2. Below there, Upendo, your word is your bond. Upendo is someone's name. Upendo Fatuku Bonye has always had an inkling for tech, and while she is now heavily focused on building her business, she is also a tech genius and programmer. Probably that is a feature there. And they also have a photo on the widespread flooding as incessant trained pounds Dar. And on the top, matters sports there, Yanga humiliate rival Simba in an exciting Dar derby.
5-1.
Oh yes.
Masuala ya spoti kule yanaleta kilio. Let's come back home and take a look at masuala ya karakacha. We start off with a cartoon on page 13 of the Daily Nation. Matters flooding, and there's a boat there that is sinking, and it's written Disaster Response Unit, and whoever is on it is calling for help, yet is supposed to be the one helping those who are already drowning in the floods. Talking about lack of preparedness that you now see on the front page of the dailies in Tanzania and in Kenya. Matters flooding. Oh yes.
And on page 12 of the Standard, well, it really seems to be a hidden meaning here, but a number of about 5 people are seeming to argue and not really finding a common ground when it comes to the common name there and common word, talking about matters values. One lady says we need to go back and start raising our children based on values. Another gentleman says, yeah, but what values? Another lady says, my faith has better values. Another one with a hijab there, where can I buy these values? Another gentleman there holding his phone says, I can't find any values up. But, well, the commentator says, value for money. Quite deep there.
A very interesting cartoon on the front page of the Standard this morning.
right. On,
not on the front page.
Oh, yes.
Inside the Standard.
And on People Daily, on page 10, Stanu's work there. It's our turn to eat. That's according to one gentleman there. He's holding probably a bull, but well, it's an interesting animal there with a black fur, with horns, but also has some paws. The animal is Ethnic Alliances, and this gentleman is heading towards 2027 elections ahead. And he's singing, it's our turn to eat. Interesting
there. When people go back to their ethnic cocoons, just to sustain them up until the next election.
Oh, yes.
That's Tano's take on the People Daily. A quick reminder of our top story today. 10 people have died this morning in a grisly road accident along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway. The accident, which occurred a few minutes past 3 a.m., involved a 14-seater matatu and a trailer which collided along the Ngata-Salga stretch. It is believed the matatu was heading towards Nakuru while the trailer was heading in the opposite direction towards Eldoret. Those injured have been rushed to the Nakuru Level 5 hospital. And we'll keep on bringing you more details as soon as we receive them. Now, we're about to take a break. When we come back, we'll be having this conversation with a panel of members from county assemblies, talking about matters, impeachment threats in Meru, in Kiambu and other areas of the country, as well as their performance, which was rated last week in that poll by InfoTrack.
It's interesting also, even as you continue, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has summoned the Kiambu MCAs and also, well, other leaders there, as well as MPs, even the governor this morning.
Well, his intervention in the Meru situation did not amount to much. Let's see if at all his intervention today in the disagreements in Kiambu will actually bear any fruit. Meanwhile, you can keep interacting with us on our social media pages, on X at TV47 News and on Facebook, TV47 Kenya. You're watching Morning Cafe. Welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe on TV47 with me, Fred Indemuli. Before we proceed, a quick reminder of our top story. 10 people have died this morning in a grisly road accident along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway. The accident, which occurred a few minutes past 3 a.m., involved a 14-seater matatu and a trailer which collided along the Ngata-Salga stretch. It is believed that the matatu was heading towards Nakuru while the trailer was heading in the opposite direction towards Eldoret. Those injured were rushed to the Nakuru Level 5 hospital, and we'll bring you more details as soon as we receive them. Once again, 10 people have died this morning in a grisly road accident along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway. Now, the accident, which occurred a few minutes past 3 a.m., involved a 14-seater matatu and a trailer which collided along the Ngata-Salga stretch. Yes, we've received some pictures on your screen right now from the accident scene as a rescue and recovery mission continues. It is believed the matatu was heading towards Nakuru while the trailer was heading in the opposite direction towards Eldoret. And we'll continue updating you on that happening there. Now, this morning we're privileged to have in studio Kiruga Dhuku, MCA Chinga Ward. He is also the chairperson, UDA MCA's caucus. It's always a pleasure to have you in studio. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much. Asante sana.
And Kennedy Ondiek, UDA coordinator, South Nyanza region, a former MCA Kibiri Ward in Home of Bay.
Home of Bay County. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
Yes. Let's start off with a recent assessment by Infotrack, that report that rated the performance of MCAs. You can see today, it's also highlighted on the front page of the Daily Nation. This is a rating of the members of the National Assembly. The one for the MCAs was released last week, and incidentally, Nyeri and Home of Bay too were ranked quite favorably, with Nyeri actually leading that ranking, and Home of Bay MCAs being rated as the most improved. So congratulations to the Nyeri County Assembly.
Thank you very much.
Do you agree with this rating? Of course, okay. Now that Nyeri is on top, I'm sure you must agree.
Now, okay, before we get into the debate, you know, I told you, you people, I invited you for the launch of the Kiruga Dhuku Foundation. And this virus, because you are our partners.
Yes.
And you are a trustworthy person. So this virus, you give everyone here from the Kiruga Dhuku Foundation.
So today Kiruga has come bearing gifts.
Yes, we start with
this
gifts.
This will help the newsroom because
yes.
We write a lot.
Yes.
Asante sana.
Yes, and we have done it for all our children there at the grassroots.
We have pens, courtesy of the Kiruga Dhuku Foundation. Asante.
Exactly.
Yes.
At another time, I will explain all the pillars of our foundation. But we have kicked off very well. Now we are planting avocados because we have started that project also. And of course, we have been dealing with all our allowed 10 schools in our sub-county. So that's a story for another day, but you can see how we are becoming number one.
Asante. Clearly it's happening in Nyeri.
So thank you very much. I want first to start by congratulating all the MCAs in Nyeri County, my colleagues. Truth be told, they deserved. I've been working with them, and I've seen with my own eyes the effort they have put into serving our electorate. And it is also imperative to point out that it's good to congratulate also our governor, who have made available resources to ward representatives in Nyeri County. That is very, very important because you realize most of the fights between county governments and their county assemblies emanate from this issue of resources or lack of them. You know, some governors, they want to do everything by themselves. And that is why we have been on this crusade, friend, that we should have a law allowing that all you know, when devolution came, we devolved all the way to the world level. We devolved power, power was devolved in Violi. Now we want resources to be devolved all the way to the world level, such that every MCA in the Republic of Kenya have resources at their disposal. And you see what have happened in Nyeri. Because Nyeri is a classic example of the campaign we have been having of availing resources at the ward level.
Is that the equivalent of the ward development fund that
is it.
So that is what has...
Yeah, and that is what basically Governor Mutahi Kahiga did.
Yes.
He availed ward funds to MC. In fact, what he said is, because you are the ones living there with the people, my government will avail resources to you. You are not given that. You know, people confuse, they think we want that money in cash. No. We want projects from our wards. And that is what the governor did. He availed resources to the wards. The MCAs, they go there, you bring this projects worth 30 million, 20 million. Then the county government implements as you oversight. Okay. That has worked so well. So those who have been opposing the Ward Development Fund, look at Nyeri. Okay.
Homa Bay too, Bwana Ongeka, has been rated as being among the most improved, both at the executive level. The current governor has been rated among the best governors, according to this poll, and even the county assembly has been rated the most improved, meaning they're among those up there with alongside Nyeri and Murang'a. What do you think is working for them? I know you served as a member of the county assembly in the previous government. What is different this time around?
Yeah, thank you. First, allow me to congratulate my brother Thuku for the establishment of the foundation. I have seen it, and I was part of the people who appeared in trying to ensure that it starts. I want to say that there's a serious focus in that foundation, and I think it might drive the ward and the region to a better height. I know what he's doing, and that is really encouraging. As a member of County Assembly, congratulations, my brother. Keep it up.
Thank you very much.
I want to look at the research and the survey in two angles. Number one, I want to look at the functionality of the County Assembly in respect of Part 3 of the County Governments Act, more particularly Section 8 and Section 9, as to the role of County Assembly and the role of members of County Assembly. Basically, County Assembly cardinal duty is one, to legislate, and the next is to oversight. Representation comes as a role of members of County Assembly. And looking at the ranking, I have not gotten the latitude of reading deeply into the facts, or maybe the areas, or maybe parameters they used to rate Thuku's County Assembly to be number one. Maybe it includes the establishment of such foundations. But I wish to state the following. Number one, to be rated the best, it means you must have performed in the 3 areas required, that is necessary legislations, as well as oversighting the government effectively and adequately, and also making a proper representation of the people, especially in the budget making process, and also in establishing those policy frameworks which are necessary for prudent utilization of the county government funds. And also, a county can only be rated in good performance if they improve in revenue collection and utilization. And so I want to look at Homa Bay, for example, having been listed as the most improved county assembly. When I was a member of county assembly in the first assembly, I presented to the county assembly 32 motions and 4 bills, as well as 4 policy documents, one of which has established Tom Mboya University today in Homa Bay, the first university in Homa Bay County. At that time, we had myriads of challenges because we had challenges of some members. I want to be very honest. There are certain members who maybe got into that with the councillor mentality. And you realize that the first assembly, all over the country, there was councillor mentality because when we went to the 2013 general election, most of them did not understand what would actually be the role of member of county assembly. That made them unique and different from councillors. And that's why you realize that former councillors, most of the former councillors found their way into the county assembly because they looked at it as the original council. But when they got into the county assembly, they found that there's more And that, in fact, it was not a mistake of their own, because even the senators that time did not understand what would be the role of the Senate. And that's why you see, I realize that serious members of parliament, even that time, ended up being senators and now changed quickly to be governors in the second election when we came to the second parliament. So I think members of county assembly from Nyeri have showed that they can work closely with the governor and also negotiate for the interest of the people they represent, and also look into how their funds are utilized. And so I believe that they deserve that position. That's why I want to say Homa Bay has really done it well, because governor and the MCAs, they are never in squabbles. They have consultation, and that is the need for members of county assembly to be sitting together with the governor occasionally or periodically, so that they gauge their level of performance and improve where there are challenges. And I think that's why Homa Bay is becoming ranked. In fact, our governor has been recently ranked number 2 or number 1.
Joint top with alongside the governor for Trans Nzoia.
Yes.
But the question is, because Bwanaduku here says that part of the success can be attributed to the equivalent of the War Development Fund, yes, that is causing trouble elsewhere, but is probably working in Nyeri. Do you think it's the same issue in Homa Bay?
That is, Homa Bay so far, they don't have the specific provisions as the county, as the War Development Fund, but what they have done, because there's policy framework required to ensure that such fund is utilized. So they have put what is called specific allocation. Specific allocation is put so that there are priority areas which are recommended by members of county assembly from different wards, so that they can put it as priority development projects alongside the other county development projects. The only thing that we have to agree, yes, is that such projects can only succeed and be seen if corruption is controlled and members of county assembly are not given direct contact with the implementation process. They remain, like I believe Thuku and his friends have remained legislators, and then they have left implementation to the hands of the executive officers so that it is properly done.
Okay, allow me to welcome Jim Mushui, MCA Athwan Award from Meru County. It's good to have you in studio. There's a lot to be said about Meru County, but before we even get to that, we're talking about this ranking by Infotrack, about the general performance of MCAs countrywide. And they say that generally people are happy with the performance of members of the county assemblies. A majority of Kenyans think ward representatives are doing a good job. And this is more than a year into office, with most receiving an average approval rating of more than 50%. Now, according to a new opinion poll, this poll by Infotrack, and they rated Nyeri, of which Bwanaduku is an MCA there, as a top. I've not seen where Meru is rated, but do you agree with this rating by Infotrack?
Thank you. You were number 1, the Nyeri is number 1, yes, the county assembly, and then I found that Meru County is number 24, the county assembly, and then the governor was ranked, I think, number 8. Mm-hmm. And Duku just said that he can attribute the performance to ward allocation. Okay. Let me call it ward allocation because it's not really a fund, but a ward allocation. And I do not know really what Infotrack used to, I don't want to dispute, but I really don't know the parameters they used to maybe to do their poll. But like for example, in the case of our executive, number 8, if it's approval rating by the residents, then I agree. But if it's in terms of maybe development projects in place, then for Meru, number 8, I don't agree. Well,
the approval rating is purely, they surveyed the opinions of residents of those counties. Okay. So it would appear even this approval for MCAs is according to the residents. Okay. They say that a majority of MCAs have really done a good job and their ratings above 50%. The same residents also, as you mentioned, approve of Governor Kawira Mwangaza among the top 10 governors in this country. And we'll come back to discuss that, but in as far as a rating by the residents of Meru, do you agree with this polling?
I agree with polling. If it's ratings, I agree. Because for us, if it's about the popularity of a person, maybe on the ground, I agree. Mm-hmm. But in as far as development is concerned, so you also agree that when it comes to development, probably the MCAs in Meru have not done a good job as compared to those in Nyeri? Okay, we have had our challenges. We had our share of challenges because now he talked about the ward development. We have had our ward development in papers. We haven't been able to implement it as it should, because now you get the executive has a lot of interest in the ward allocation. So for us as representatives of the people, you go to the people, you get their views, what they want done. But now when you come on the side of executive, because they control this money, they also have their interests which does not match with the people's residents that we live with every day. Okay. So maybe I agree, because we have had our challenges, our own share of challenges in Meru, and if it's based on probability, then it's on what people maybe can see, or how maybe they can see you do these things.
And you mentioned that Meru, according to this rating, the MCAs or the county assembly was rated at number 24.
Yes, number 24.
Which means it's if at all it was a table, this mid-table. Do you agree with that? Probably the county assembly has not done its role to the satisfaction of the residents who are polled.
You know, our role is oversight, legislation, and representation. We have done that perfectly. I think we lead in Kenya. In that. We live in Kenya in that. We were mentioned in terms of our exact role. But you know, also residents will respond in terms of what they can see you implement. And you can only implement when you have when you are facilitated from the executive. So when the executive doesn't really, there are no problems with the executive. You realize that the flow of the service to the people is hindered.
Is hindered.
Yes.
Yes, and of course we'll be coming back to discuss this issue, because Kawera Mwangaza's moment of truth is nigh, and her 2-day trial begins tomorrow before the Senate. Some Meru leaders have petitioned the UDA leadership to whip its members to uphold that impeachment. This morning as well, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has summoned all the elected members from Kiambu County following that impeachment threat by members of the county assembly. They've given Governor Kimani Wamatangi 21 days to respond to their demands, or they file a motion of impeachment against him. So we'll be looking at these cases of impeachment after the break with these gentlemen who are on the panel this morning. You're watching Morning Cafe. Welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe on TV47 with me, Freddie Ndimuli. A quick recap of our top story this morning. 10 people have died this morning in a grisly road accident along the Nakuru-Eldoret highway. The accident, which occurred a few minutes past 3 a.m., involved a 14-seater matatu and a trailer which collided along the Ngata-Salga stretch. Now, it is believed the matatu was heading towards Nakuru while the trailer was heading in the opposite direction towards Eldoret. Those injured were rushed to the Nakuru Level 5 hospital, and we'll continue bringing you these details and more as soon as we receive them. Now, I'm still in studio with Jim Mushui, MCA Athwana Award in Meru County, Kennedy Ondiek, UDA Coordinator South Nyanza Region and a former member of the County Assembly of Homa Bay, and Kiruga Thuku, MCA Shinga Ward in Nyeri County, and is also the chairperson, UDA MCA's caucus. A quick look at the question this morning we are asking. The question this morning, do you believe the recent report on the performance of MCAs accurately reflects the effectiveness of county assemblies? Do you believe that the recent report on the performance of MCAs accurately reflects the effectiveness of county assemblies? You can do that on our social media pages, TV47 News on X and TV47 Kenya on Facebook. Gentlemen, now I want us to look at how the relationship has been between members of the county assemblies, especially and the governors. And I'll take you back to an incident in 2014 where Kivutha Kibwana, who has been rated among the best performing governors ever since the advent of devolution, had a very dicey relationship with the members of the county assembly back then. And it emerged from similar sentiments about demands for allocations to the specific wards. What you're saying now works in Nyeri, probably is the same issue in Meru, and different counties have tried to put this into effect with different levels of success. Now, but we're seeing quite a lot of problems currently. Bwana Kiruga Thuku, it is not provided for in the Constitution that members of the county assemblies should have any ward-specific allocations. The role of development in the entire county is placed solely on the door of the county executive. That means the governor and his county executive committee. The MCAs are purely to oversight, legislate, and represent the people and ensure that public participation works so that development can actually trickle down to the ward level. Don't you think that you're engaging in something, whether or not it works, illegal?
Thank you very much. You know, friend, ward development fund is basically nothing but a replica of the constituency development fund. And if you say ward development fund is illegal, then even the CDF will be termed as illegal. So what we are saying...
I would say to that, before we continue, is that I may not need to say so because the Supreme Court has already pronounced itself on that matter and said that even the CDF is unconstitutional.
Yes, but now, you know, we have come and sat and we are bargaining what is the best in terms of development to our areas. What is in the best interest of our people. And one thing you will realize, friend, today, people don't want politics of empty talk. If you take empty talk to people, they will jettison you out of that office very, very fast in the ensuing elections. People want you talk, you act. People want to see development in the areas. And that is why you realize, just look, every cadre of leadership in this republic, the presidency, the governors and their deputy, the executive, MPs, women reps, even senators who are supposed to oversight counties. Every cadre have a development kitty. They have a kitty to do their work. And that translates, people on the ground want to see work. In fact, I wonder what people understand by the word representation. What are you representing? Mm-hmm. You are representing the challenges facing your people, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yes, some of those challenges are those development that we are taking from our wards. So it is for us, it is for the legislators to align the needs of our people with the laws of our country. Because you see, already now during the talks that are going, the bipartisan talks that are going on, the MPs have come there. They are talking about entrenchment of the CDF in the laws of the Republic. And that is why we have been fighting also to have the World Development Fund entrenched. Because what Fred people need to realize, and I want to congratulate the mindset of the current MCAs. They deserve a lot of, platitudes. Because they are fighting for something, not for themselves. Because World Development Fund, friend, people need to get it very clearly, doesn't belong to the MCAs. And that is why even the president and the deputy president are supporting the MCA's demand that let us have these funds because they are for the people down there. Let us have them in our laws. And then I want to bring you to the case of Nyeri. It's not like you are given money to go and utilize. What we are saying, through representation, as it were, the governor, out of goodwill, avails funds, avails a process whereby, through the process of representation, MCAs go back to their wards, they pick projects, they bring them to the county government, they are the sole implementers of these projects. Okay. Then the MCA retreats to his constitutional role of oversight, ensuring these projects are done properly. And friend, it is good. I can tell you, like, for example, you have one bridge in my area called Matiriogo Bridge. Matiriogo Bridge, we even had a president in our area, the late Mzee Kibaki, a very good gentleman. But somehow through government processes, this crucial bridge had not been made. But through this process that Governor Mwalimu Mutahi brought, we have been able to do Matiriogo Bridge and 4 other bridges, and even this financial year we are doing another bridge. Okay. And that is the way to help our people.
Let's be very frank. It would appear that we've managed to concoct a new system of governance and attempted to broaden the roles of the MCA and even the member of the National Assembly that are not envisioned in the Constitution. Issues like CDF are not in the Constitution. That's why the Supreme Court pronounced itself on that matter. MCAs are doing the same. That aren't they overstretching their mandate? Yes, because they admit that this is yet to be entrenched in the Constitution. Aren't they overstretching their mandate and touching on matters that should be left to the executive?
In my view, when I look at the path we took, the path I had as a member of County Assembly, I really don't want to agree with the position my colleague is taking. Because first, I also want to say the CDF Act, which was declared unconstitutional, is not the current CDF Act. So there were 2 operational acts by that time, and there's an act which was already suspended, which was finally rendered unconstitutional. But the current act is still within the whims of the Constitution. But I also want to add that when Mheshimiwa says that they are really looking for World Development Fund so that certain critical areas of development can be implemented, it means that we have not done well our integrated development plan. County has what is called CIDP, and every 5 years, a CIDP is created, and it is a collective and consensual agreement that encompasses stakeholders, members of County Assembly, as well as the executive. And it forms part of that is the place where we generate what is called annual development plan. An annual development plan, the ADP, is supposed to be retrieved from that particular CIDP, and it forms part of what is called finance bill. It forms what is called appropriation bill. Every financial year, an appropriation bill is created out of annual development plan. And this is what should inform annual development in each and every ward, because it's supposed to have what is called public participation. And in the process of public participation, we get to collect from every zone and every ward, every part of the county, what are priority development areas. But that said and done, it is also clear that most executives in our 47 counties are not prioritizing what has been prioritized by members of county assembly. And that is why it now comes to be important that a particular ward is given a certain specific allocation aside from the normal ones. And that is what now allows CDF to have force, that there are certain developmental areas which are so unique to particular areas that are not general to the county. So it might be difficult to allow the only single executive arm of government to decide which bridge, like he says, to be done in each and every place. But you realize that if they have specific allocation which they can budget for, and then they ensure that that particular allocation is implemented, it will reduce the single dependency we have on the executive in looking at development areas.
Are you saying there's a weakness in design of the devolution system we have, that as designed that the county government and the county executive will ensure that through this CIDPs and the oversight by the members of the county assembly, that development will be equitable across the county? Is it not working out of design?
I'm actually very specific, and I want to say that the constitution that we have is only 13 years old, and there are so many areas that are supposed to be looked into, and that's why our constitution is ripe for amendments, so that maybe CDF can be entrenched into it, so that it is very specific that while the national government through the Ministry of Finance, together with all the ministries remaining with the policies at the national level, will be doing this. These particular roles are supposed to be set aside by the Constitution to the members of County Assembly and to the CDF. And that is what also is supposed to be entrenched into the Constitution, that while the county executive will be implementing these particular areas, these special areas are supposed to be given special allocation, which is entrenched into the Constitution, that it's not even to be demanded by members of County Assembly, and it should be very specific and in terms of percentiles. And that is why I think the Meru people will be complaining while the Nyeri people will be celebrating, because the governor has allocated them specific amount, not giving them in cash, but has allocated them and given them capacity to budget and plan for that particular area. And Meru people have not had that. And that is now what is working well for Homa Bay, I can tell you, because they have also that particular allocation that they can specifically put into particular areas. And so they don't have squabbles with the governor. When you want to do 3 roads, you already have some like 10 million or 12 million so that you do it for your ward, but you don't implement it. Because the reason why CDF was having havoc is that most members of parliament want to decide how much it is to be spent on what. They were not giving opportunity to the constituency development fund committees to do their job. That is the reason why, because they were now participating in implementation instead of staying aside to oversight and legislate in respect of the same.
But looking at the impeachment motion against Governor Kawira Mwangaza, this first one and the second one, it talks about so many things, or about 62 charges in the first one, 7 allegations in the second impeachment motion. None of them made mention about any county word-specific allocation. Yet we know that the genesis of the misunderstanding or the bad blood between the governor and the county assembly was to do with money and allocations that they were being demanded for sometime last year, and the governor said no to. So, is this current impeachment motion against Kawira Mwangaza just another case of giving a dog a bad name before killing it?
That's not true. It has nothing to do with the word allocation, Muli. Because now, when we had the other impeachment in the last year, we came to we talked that we came to an agreement, and we were able to solve a few issues. But the issues we have with the governor, the issues of abandoning county laws and running the county alone, like a lone ranger. And you can't run a county, you and your family only, ignoring all the set laws. So when we talk about the issues of ward allocation, that has not been our business, really our issue with the governor. Because if you check also last time, when she said there's no ward allocation, we were okay. Actually, we went to the people and told them, now, for us, we will represent you, we'll oversight the county, we will do the laws. But for you, for all the development will come from the governor. And we were settled at that. Even before we came to reconciliation and all that.
And all the MCAs are comfortable.
And we were comfortable, actually. Actually, Muli, it is very easy for us when we make people understand that all the development comes from the executive. And it was easy for us then. But you see now she came maybe after some time, she realized that it is very difficult when we don't share these maybe the burden of blame on terms of the things that are not done in development. So she allocated 15 million for ward, for across all the wards. But now
15 million per ward?
15 million per ward. And Muli, you realize that also, I don't know why when we talk about the ward fund, we, at the same time, we really want to attach it with the MCAs. Because now it has nothing to do with the ward reps. It should be something maybe like CDF. You realize the structures of CDF are away from the national, are very dependent from the national level to the constituency level. The ward allocation should be done as such, with its own committees, its own mandate at the one level. So that now you, as the MCA, your role is to oversight or to see whether this money is working for your people, and also, as my brother said, and also where you come in contact with the issues of ward fund is at a point of public participation with your people. So when we talk about the ward fund, and it seems as if that the MCA is being given money maybe to an account to go and spend, it really brings a lot of problems, Mudi. So ward fund should be looked at the high sort of equalization, so that you can be able to debate about it soberly, and look for a situation where the governor comes in, or the governor is voted, and they were not voted in specific regions. What happens to those regions? We have had an issue in Meru where when we reconciled with the governor, like 6 MCs do not reconcile with the governor. And there are ones including the 15 million, were totally neglected. When we talk about the issue of...
They did not receive that 15 million?
Yes, they did not receive. Actually, like Jia Ward, where the deputy speaker comes from, we had a road that the resident identified 5 million. And that road was never done. It was done in another ward. Actually, the tractors went there. And the end scaffolds with the governor, the rep then. And actually, the machines were relocated to the neighboring ward. So 2 roads were done in the neighboring ward to try and humiliate the rep. And you see also, where it becomes a challenge also again in Moody, is that people know you are given a responsibility of representing them. So when they don't get those development projects, they associate you with the failure to get the projects, because now they think you are not lobbying for them, okay, as one of the aspects of representation. So in my view, Muli, the ward fund should be entrenched in the law as a way of avoiding a situation where we have some wards neglected because the wards cannot maybe disagree in opinion with the current governor. And maybe finally, if you look at the issue of MPs are able to work so well because now they have to identify their projects and align them with the budget and the policy that's there. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
Now this debate has resulted in, to some level and in quite a good number of the counties, to bad blood between the county assembly and the county executive. We've seen cases in, I think the most prominent is in Meru. I gave you the example of Makueni back in 2014. We're seeing the same happening in Kiambu. And there are those who feel that county assemblies have become more of a nuisance than really serving their purpose, because they seem to be holding the county executive at ransom with the demands, for one, this county allocation, the ward allocations, and 2, even before they pass the budgets, that they are using this impeachment threat against the governor to make demands. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. You know, it can only be that way to someone who wants to treat MCAs as robots. People who are just there, they are just seated, they are not thinking anything, they're just there to receive the elections. That's not the case. We have, especially the current crop of MCAs, and I like their vibrancy, I like how they are making demands for their people. Because, friends, you know, my brother keeps calling you Muli, but it is in the Muli. in the Muli. Yeah, so, friends, you know, for you to be elected by people, they have to like you, they have to identify with your development agenda. And mostly that is why people will elect you, your development agenda. So, this issue, we want to elect members of county assemblies and then emasculate them by denying them a chance to participate fully in identifying the development that is brought to them by their people. It cannot work. And you see, my brother friend, no laws are cast in steel. And I have said here, and I wish to repeat, and you can see even our president and deputy president, they are supporting, for example, financial independence of the assemblies, because that is where, again, money used to come, in a joint account for the assemblies and the executive. And so when you oversight them and they feel the pinch, they would switch off the tap for the assembly. Now the president and the deputy president have promised to support this process of making of financial autonomy of our assemblies. And I think that registration is already ongoing in our national parliament. Then, Fred, you realize the person people will tend to take all their problems to at the grassroots level is the MCA. The person closest to the electorate is the MCA. And that's why we are saying, fine, we know most of the challenges. For example, in my area, I can tell you, because I'm in touch with people always, we have even some landslides there which have occurred this weekend. You see? We have some roads which are really deteriorated. Yeah? So, what we are saying here, friend, is, and even if you look properly, all the formulas have been looked into, to subdivide money among the various areas of our country. The surest way of ensuring that we have a proper balance is giving resources based on our wards. Because that way, every area, you can now imagine every ward have a kitty, a central kitty. Our country will develop uniformly, my brother.
But I have a question, Bonondiek. Are we not creating a monster by having these rogue county assemblies that hold county executives at ransom and threaten governors with impeachment anytime they're uncomfortable? We don't see that with the National Assembly. They have a role, they have the ability to impeach the president, but they don't keep threatening impeachment. But when it comes to the county assemblies, some governors, good example in Meru, Kawira Mwangaza is facing a second impeachment in less than a year. In Kiambu, the same, a second impeachment in less than a year as well. When will these county executives be allowed to work, if at all the county assemblies remain with this threat?
Thank you. Again, allow me take this opportunity to send my condolences to the families who have lost their loved ones in the accident. The 10 people is so painful. At the same time, as a country, we are celebrating Obiri's win. But I really wonder whether we are going to mourn the existence of our members of county assembly or celebrate their existence in one way or another. Article 181 of the Constitution does provide for the process through which the governor or the county executive boss, that is the governor, can be removed from office. And if you allow me to read it very quickly, a county governor may be removed from office on any of the following grounds: gross violation of the Constitution or any other law. And that any other law might be two laws which are very cardinal there. That is the Public Finance Management Act and also the County Governments Act. Those are two very cardinal laws. There are other laws involved. And also maybe the Constitution. And then number two, where there are serious reasons for believing that the county governor has committed a crime under national and international law, and also abuse of office or gross misconduct, and also physically or mentally incapacitated. I want to let our members of county assembly know, and they are both here. I don't serve in the current assembly, but they serve. Number one, it will not be easy to remove any governor from office. And I'm assuring you here, take it from me, you will have her impeached, as you have done it twice from your county assembly. You will bring it to the Senate. I don't know whether the senators are going to be tired discussing Mwangaza, and so they may want to dispense with her and let her go, or they are going to still stick on the law and insist that these things I'm going to say have to be checked. If I was seated in that parliament today, I hope I will sit there one day, I would make the following inquiry. One, define gross misconduct and gross violation of the Constitution, and put it against the 15 the allegations which were tabled. In fact, we were fed the information by the speaker through his Twitter handle, and we got the allegations. They were major allegations as misappropriation and misuse of county resources. He also talked about nepotism related to unethical practices, as well as bullying, vilification, and demeaning of other leaders. Those were the three main areas that were forming part of allegations which are brought against Kawira Mwangaza. I could only look at one. That part one is the only one which talks about violation of office. Nepotism is something which will be judgmental based on the facts that they will present. Because you cannot stop me from employing my brother if he's qualified and he comes from the same county. So we have seen many people have employed even their wives, because the wife is an independent individual and has the capacity to perform, unless they were employed there in a manner that is irregular. I can categorically tell members of county assembly, yes, it is necessary to conduct your oversight. But I think what is happening in Meru is purely witch hunting, because you cannot decide how someone has served in a particular position after 7 months. I think Meru County Assembly impeached Kawira Mwangaza after 7 months.
No, it was actually in December. It was about 3-4 months.
Yeah, 3-4 months.
After.
In fact, remember, that time, Kawira Mwangaza had not even had her own budget. She was implementing a budget which she found going on. Kawira has just had her first budget. She has had only her first, in fact, that time she had not even maybe settled her ministers or CEC members into office. She had not even gotten the chief officers, and you are already impeaching her. I think what is happening in the county assembly of Meru is similar to what was happening in Embu with Governor Wambora. And I'm telling you, they will proceed to the court, to the courts. Remember, Senate is not the overall boss. The court will still pronounce themselves in respect of the same, because he who alleges has a duty to prove. If you prove that this person has grossly violated the Constitution and other laws relating to the same, then you have to provide facts in respect of the same as to justify your claim. And I'm very sure they are not going to justify these claims, because you can only rate the capacity of a person to spend a budget when that budget is done, and also when that budget period is complete. We have not had any complete budget period. The Auditor General has not made any report in respect of expenditures in Meru. And even if certain wards have received allocations of 15, as the member says, it is not a must that the financial year is not concluded yet. The financial year has just begun. So if one ward has received a road and another ward has received 2 roads, maybe the engineer will tell us why these roads were done. Maybe prioritization of these roads differed. So for me, I'm not coming from Meru, and I'm looking at it at the national angle. We must give governors opportunities to serve with their executive, so that they prioritize based on what you prioritize. And if such has not worked well, then you come back to a table before the financial year closes, so that you can say, because the financial year is not yet finished.
Let's allow Bwana to respond, because a lot of things have been said.
But I wanted to have a point of order, friend. You know...
Briefly.
Yes, very briefly. You know, I want to differ very, very strongly with my brother here. There is no way you will go and you are doing projects in one ward, then in another ward, and where maybe you are having differences with the person there, you are not doing a project there. Okay. It cannot work.
Okay. Okay, Bwana Mushui.
Thank you, Fred. And I really want to disagree with my brother. Because you realize, and I am shocked, the people outside Meru seem to maybe to want to prove to understand issues pertaining Meru more than the people who are there. And I would also refer my brother to go and read that impeachment motion again. At no point have we accused the governor of employing a sister or brother or whatever in the motion. Yes, we haven't accused
There's
the governor.
nepotism, but you didn't specify.
Yes, let me, our aspect of nepotism, and that's how Wakili Omari, I've seen she has dropped him at the Senate. She's not going with her in the Senate because he was really embarrassed at the Assembly. He came with the same issues because people have misconceptions. You create your own motion, you come and defend it. And that's exactly what he's doing.
No, point of order, sir.
No, let me just...
He's quoting
is it
the
that the Speaker
of
of the Senate gave wrong information to Kenyans? Because I'm reading from...
But we are not... what you need to do, we have our Assembly website. Go get... I don't know what the Speaker has written. Go get the impeachment motion, read, then come on national TV.
No, this is the Speaker.
Let me... But we are not... It is not the Speaker who is impeaching the governor. If you are interested and you want to engage on issues, Meru, you should go and get the impeachment motion plus the evidence. Actually, I said it's here.
Okay, we can agree to differ because the Speaker is also an authority.
And what I'm saying is this. On the issue of nepotism that he's talking about, we are not actually accusing the governor of employing the sister or the brother. The governor got an invitation from China, from a private entity in China that does the cancer treatment machines. So she was invited. We have a letter. She was invited to go and benchmark. Because now Meru is leading the country on issues cancer. She was invited to go and benchmark so that these people can come and do a cancer center in Meru. Because Meru is the hotspot of stomach cancer in the world. In Kenya, our cancer contributes to about 14% of all cancer in Kenya. Now, what the governor did, she never went to China. The PA is the sister. The security is the brother, who is a police officer. And the husband to the PA. And the CC Healthy. Therefore, two sisters, the husband to the sister, and the CC Healthy. She sent them to China to go and benchmark on cancer treatment machines to be planted in Meru. In the letter they wrote to the devolution ministry, they are quoted as the technical team. I have all those letters. She said, "This is our technical team to go and benchmark on the cancer treatment equipment in China." Now, what we are saying when we talk about the nepotism, and I want my brother to get this very clearly, we are saying the only way, a sister who is not a mendic, a brother who is a police officer, the husband to the sister, found themselves in China, it's because they are relatives. If it was a normal PA who is not a relative, a security officer who is not a brother, they would not have found themselves in China. If I'm a president today, and I'm invited in India to go maybe at benchmark on a project that is coming to benefit my people, then do I send my bodyguard? Who is my brother? Do I send my PA? Who is my sister? You said you are deputy? And then Meru has so many oncologists. The Minister for Health is a pharmacist. The person who deals with those equipment, the medical equipment, is an oncologist. Meru has a very qualified oncologist. Mm-hmm. Then why don't you send it, okay, for the CC? Then flag him or give him a backup of maybe oncologists and other qualified medical practitioners in Meru, so that now when they come within the systems of the county health, they can be able to implement what they got there. Okay. So that's where we are coming the issue of nepotism.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and she'll get her day before the Senate to defend, because we cannot go into the specific allegations.
Exactly.
But
maybe
yes.
Allow me to conclude. He talked about issues of, and I actually executed a case and concluded about the issues of you don't need to implement the whole of your budget so that you can steal. If you go again in our first county, we have an issue where the sister who is a PA received 29 million. Like you read the infamous report, and you find that she has received 10 payments in a single day. The law says that you cannot be a impress holder for more than one impress. So you have to utilize the one you have, then you get another one. Then how do you get 10? Okay, those are things that are before the saying that will be, yes. She will defend herself there. Yes. But now the issues Meru are deeper than people can see how they are.
Yeah. Yes, and perhaps, probably that's what we were saying, that what we are seeing on the impeachment motion and these allegations of nepotism and gross violation of the Constitution are not the real issues, that they've just been used to sustain a fight that is deeper than that.
The issues have come about women.
Yes.
About, you see, now you're impeaching her because she was married with a patriarchal, MCs were compelled. They have said MCs were compelled. We have 5 MCs independent. They all voted against the governor. The PNU party wrote a letter to its members. They don't have any position about let people take their independent positions. Out of 7, 5 impeached the governor. The Secretary General of BAS Party came out and said, for us, we are not for the impeachment of the governor. 19 out of 20 MCAs voted the governor.
Do you think if at all Kawira Mwangaza belonged to one party, not an independent governor, that probably she would have survived this?
She would, because the mayor is about incompetence, and for us as assembly, we are not ready to compromise on the issues, the competence and our oversight role.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with what we are hearing about patriarchal, you have been forced, those are side issues. Let people focus on what is in motion. You see now, we have not taken World Fund to Senate. We have not taken issues with women and all those and whatever.
But those issues do exist.
But
the issue of the water allocation.
But you see, our judgment will not be based on those issues. It will be based on what is it?
It may not even matter.
So what we are saying, let the Senate restrict itself to the counts.
Because
and she will be, either maybe she will be justified according to the grounds that are on the place. The sign shows
it is a political process, and the Senate has chosen to go the plenary way, not the committee way. So they may not necessarily examine each and every allegation and get the governor to defend it, meaning that it will be purely according to the voting strength of the parties in the Senate. One of the senators there who's opposed to this or argued that the plenary would not be the best way, and this Senator Olekina, who would have preferred a committee, suggested that probably because of the deeper differences in Meru, which have dragged in the deputy governor himself, that probably the law should be changed so that every time there's an impeachment of the governor, the deputy too should leave. Do you think that would help solve some of the problems? Because we know once the deputy goes against the governor and teams up with the assembly, then the governor's goose is cooked.
I don't think that should be the case, because you shouldn't say that. Because, for example, now we are here in the panel. If I do a mistake, you roast my colleagues alongside me. Or if I do a colleague, you should take the blame yourself, unless you take the blame for failing to moderate properly. But the issue is, if the governor have a problem, it should be dealt with at that level. If the deputy governor has a problem, it should be dealt with at that level. And you have seen in Siaya, they have impeached the deputy governor, and the governor was intact. So like the Bible says, let everyone carry their own cross. But then again, on this issue of Meru, you know, we are outsiders. Many of us are outsiders. Those who have the facts are the people who live there. The residents of Meru, the MCs of Meru, the governor of Meru, they are the ones who have the facts. I'm surprised when we come out here and we argue even the smallest details. Oh, I don't know, she's being fought because she is a woman. That doesn't carry a lot of weight. What we know as outsiders is what we hear on TVs and what we see. For example, we see the governor go somewhere with a cow, the residents decide on it. One goes with the ear, the other one with the tail. You know, those are the things we see. But they have the facts. And listening to the Meru MCs, I hear a lot of concrete information from what they say. But then again, I wouldn't want to crucify their governor. The country's laws have availed a process of determining what they are saying, and to know that that issue is deeper. You know, at some point, the president and the deputy had intervened in that issue, and actually it is, I think the president had given the duty of trying to arbitrate to his deputy. To know how serious that problem is, the deputy president at some point lifted his hands. He said, now, let the law take its course. Okay. So, I would prefer, you know, if we want things to work out properly, and this is maybe for the advantage of all the other governors and MCs, I've repeatedly said, dear friend, don't don't just assume the MCAs. Sit down with them. For example, what this gentleman here is saying, that they see, because there are differences, one ward projects are done, another they are not done. You know, that's very bad. And that's why we keep insisting, friend, that just like the CDF, whereby even if you are the harshest critic of the government, CDF money will still come to your area because this money doesn't belong to that leader.
Okay.
This money belongs to the people. So likewise,
yes,
let's try and bring this word fund we have been campaigning for. Let's strengthen our laws such that even when the governors
change in laws, yes,
yeah, even when governors differ with MCs, people of those wards don't get punished.
Okay.
In the attempt that the governors punish their members.
But to this issue of impeachment, Banondiek, there seems to be at least one individual who benefits directly from an impeachment of a governor, and that's the deputy governor. It could be an incentive for deputy governors to defy their bosses and go against them and even gang up with the county assemblies. Now that the county assemblies appear to some extent, and they have been accused of misusing their ability to impeach a governor.
Yeah, my brother, I think the truth be told, the members of County Assembly of Meru will not succeed in their quest. And I am telling you that with a serious mind here. The reason why I'm telling you that, it's because...
Okay, it's his opinion.
It's my opinion. You had your opportunity to give your opinion, and I'm telling you this is the opinion which I carry. I carry it based on, you know, don't say that we are outsiders. The senators who are going to listen to this matter, all of them don't come from Meru. The members of the members of the court, because remember, whatever will come out of the court, will come out of the Senate, will also be subject of interrogation by the courts, because it is subject of constitutional violation. And if it is constitutional violation, every person has a right. The last time they impeached Kawira Mwangaza, I got informed, according to the facts we had, that she did not get the opportunity to be heard. Article 50 of the Constitution of Kenya provides for the right to be heard, right of the accused. You have to be given right to be heard. And I'm telling you, what is even going to go into the Senate will be challenged in court, obviously, because the Senate cannot be ruled by the Speaker that they go plenary way, because the Senate has got it's called quasi-judicial body. The quasi-judicial body, or the capacity of the Senate, is to act through the committees. The Kawira Mwangaza case must or should be subjected to a committee whether she is heard in one allegation or the other. But be it as it may, I don't come from Meru. You don't come from Meru. I'm sure he doesn't come from Meru. He may come from Meru, but then they need to tell us why they are impeaching Kawira Mwangaza. Because the reasons which they are bringing are three, which are brought by the what? By the Speaker of the Senate. The Speaker of the Senate cannot relay wrong information, and whatever they have in respect of the war and the rest is not here. I have also, he's claiming that these are not the truth, but even that nepotism matter has been brought here, and has been brought just as he has explained it, the way the Senate did. And now we ask ourselves, to what extent will that be substantial enough for a determination to be made that actually there was a violation of the Constitution of Kenya? Okay. And that is why I'm saying members of county assembly should also not accept to be driven by some particular individuals. And that is, go to the third allegation, bullying and vilification and demeaning other leaders. And other leaders in this respect was specifically the deputy governor. If you wanted to be governor, you should have gone for the governorship. You should not hide behind the deputy governor and then the position of deputy governor, and then you want to rise into governorship. It will not work. And I think that even if she's independent candidate, I'm seeing politics playing, and I'm sure the laws of Kenya are very good. If there were allegations that Kawira Mwangaza has personally or directly or indirectly involved herself in acquisition of funds or resources belonging to the county, like we saw in the Sonko's case, we saw in Waititu's case, that will be a case of EACC to determine, and when such determination is made, it will be taken to court. Court will determine in respect of violation and also acquisition of public funds, and that is the fertile ground. If they have allegation of such kind, they should bring. But there's someone who wants Kawira Mwangaza out,
Yes.
and he's really or she is really trying his or her best to remove her.
And this claims that there could be outside interference, that other forces from outside the county assembly could be
Yes.
influencing the members of the Meru County Assembly into impeaching the governor. And mention of the deputy governor himself, because he or she directly benefits from the impeachment of the boss.
First of all, before we get there, friend, let me see this. And I will always, I'll continue requesting my friend Ondiek to go and check also on Senate standing orders on the issues of how they should prosecute. Because he cited two very critical things. He said that the issue of impeaching the governor will not go anywhere because, one, maybe she talked about the issues of giving her an opportunity to be heard, and also the issue of Senate, they were supposed to go the committee way because the Senate works through the committees. But actually, the default context of the Senate is the plenary. That's why the committee has to be approved
By the plenary.
by the plenary.
Yeah.
That's why the committee and you see, it is not said, it is not in the law that it's the committee that will hear the issues of impeachment of the governor. So the default setting is the plenary. That's why now they have to, if it will go to committee, they have to approve that committee. So there is nothing wrong on that. On the issue of being heard, and I've said, before you come to say things, you really need to really follow up and do your research well. In Meru, this time round, and actually even last time, in our standing orders, it is provided for, during the day of impeachment, the governor has her space to come and defend herself in the assembly. In the last impeachment, she never came. This time round, leave alone even the impeachment, we invited her when the allegations came up and all the issues we wanted to solve them. She never came. She said she is attending the IBEC meeting. She requested that we reschedule. Then we rescheduled. Invited her again. And she wrote us a letter. All the letters are in the impeachment motion. And told us that we don't have powers to invite the governor in the assembly. Simply because the argument was also the National Assembly cannot summon the president. That's what she told us. We have the letters. Now, on the issues, on all those issues of the knee, and actually I want to say this. When we go to court, go and read the ruling on the Sonko case. The court does not concern themselves with the issues and grounds of impeachment. That is done at the Senate. The court is only concerned with the procedures. And that's what made Wabora survive. The County Assembly of Wabora did not do public participation and all those other things. So if you read the ruling,
Point of order in the
just a minute.
Just
If you read the issues
I'll
on,
give you an opportunity to.
if you read on the issues on Sonko ruling at the Supreme Court, it is said, that's the ruling that set the standard of the issues impeachment. They said that the courts have no business on really, actually they said it's a quasi-judicial process. So they only limit themselves on the process. But the Senate does not look at the processes, it looks at the grounds. And we don't have a problem. Even if our grounds went to they were to be verified at the court, we absolutely have no problem. We have a lot of. And just give me something about the deputy governor. Or
the point of order which I wanted to bring forth is that the Sonko case in itself don't bear the same facts as this. In Sonko's case, there were direct involvement of cash. You need also to read that well. And number two, there's no reason you can ask me to go and read the standing orders or to go and read the facts you had in the county assembly while the facts have been presented by the speaker.
Okay.
So they cannot be different. Let me tell you, my brother, we have been through these trenches. There's no way the allegations can be different from what is here. And if there are allegations which are different from what is here, they are the allegations we are asking you people to bring.
Okay, because of time, I want him to respond to the question about the deputy governor.
Then
interference from outside forces.
Then
we'll get a chance.
then friend, Then, Fred, if because what he read about the employment of the sisters and all that is something very different, which is not in the motion.
They are here.
I don't know which motion you have, but to our motion, it's not there. We are not accusing the governor for employing the sister, the brother, and all that. Okay. Maybe you have another one.
Go ahead.
About the issues of the deputy governor, Fred, you have a deputy governor. You humiliate this guy completely, and we are there oversighting the executive. At that moment, so that now it cannot be said it is the deputy governor initiating the process and all that. What should we do as the county assembly? The deputy governor has written letters to us. He has written letters to the COG. He has written letters to the deputy president. He has written letters to the president. He has all those letters, and it is not now. You go, fake resignation letters, you sack the secretary to the governor, you sack the PA to the governor, you withdraw whole, the vehicles, yes, including the official vehicle. You liaise with the Kenya Power. The power is connected. It is disconnected. In his homestead, that kind of humiliation. Where should this guy go for justice? Okay. So on the issues of, and let me state this on this TV, friend, the deputy governor of Meru has been the most loyal to the governor. Okay. Last time when
as you make your final remarks as well.
Yeah, during the first emotion, he was her biggest defender. So when we talk about the issues of the deputy governor humiliation and all that, it is misconduct. It's incompetence. It's abuse of office. To use your powers to have your deputy go through humiliation even by the junior staff. You will see tomorrow, as the Senate will be proceeding, the kind of insults that the governor posted with ward administrators and the most junior insulting the deputy governor in the same WhatsApp group. Okay. So my final remark is this. On issues Meru, the other things that people can hear out there, those are side issues, and everyone will have maybe if I'm accused of stealing now, and I see Merus around, I'll say, no, I'm being beaten because I'm a Meru. That's why you see all these issues around. So the state of Meru counts right now, and I want my brother to know, and other people out there, and maybe other governors like Waigoro defending Kawira, I want them to know this. The governor is unable to make decisions on county progress, and unfortunately, she can't allow people who can make those decisions, professionals in the county, to do it. So we are all stuck. And we are not ready to die, all of us in the same boat. We better throw John out.
Okay. Thank you, Fred. You know, somehow the whole debate became the matter of Meru, which is okay because it's a hot issue. And for my concluding remarks, I want to send my condolences to all those who have been affected by the accident in Nakuru, Poleni Sana. And friend, you see, there are some things, okay, we are not the jury in the Meru case. That's for a fact. But then again, you know, there are things you cannot ignore. For example, when he says a technical team is sent somewhere, you hear who those who are involved. How can you defend that? And in fact, I suspect, you know, the way my brother here, you know, he's my very good friend. The way he is defending the governor is even suspicious. It looks like someone who has eaten something, but he has not. He's a good man. He's a good man of conviction. He's a very good friend of mine. But you see, the way he is defending the case, he is actually even defending the governor better than Dunstan Omali. But the thing is this. The thing, we really would pray for the Meru leaders to come together. But then again, you know, the governors, of course, you know, they are now like siblings. So we expect them to start with their own. Personally, I'm inclined to start with my brothers because I'm an MC, they are MCs, you know. But the bottom line is, as the president and the deputy president have been saying, you have seen today the deputy president dedicating the whole day towards listening to the Kiambu leaders. So before we get there, it's imperative for all the leaders follow the Nyeri route. We normally sit down. We sit there with our governor. He listens to us. But, and it is imperative to say this, Fred, because I don't want to appear like a praise singer to my governor. At one time, we had a very sharp differences over dumping site in our area. In fact, it is in neighboring ward. And the governor was requested to remove my budget, development budget, because I was very, very harsh on the matter. But the governor said, there is that, Kiruga, the MCA, and there are the people of Shinga. I cannot punish the people of Shinga because Kiruga is opposing me. Okay. So that's the way to go. Thank you very much, friend. We look forward to much engagements. Today they have made me a spectator. They have made me a spectator as the fourth year.
Basically, I want us to know that power belongs to the people, and Article 1 of the Constitution provides that it is exercised directly or indirectly through elected or nominated individuals. When the Meru people went to election, they had options, and their option was Kawira Mwangaza. If the Meru people will want Kawira Mwangaza out, the Meru people will speak. Although the Meru people can also speak through their members of county assembly, but what I'm seeing being spoken is not word of the members of Meru community. It is members of the county assembly who are very few and likely to be used. And I'm telling you for now, without fear, even in the presence of my friend, the members of county assembly for Meru are being directed to do something for the interest of somebody. You cannot say that one individual being humiliated makes the person elected by all the people to leave. And I'm also making it very clear that it is necessary. That we look at the bigger picture.
Point of order.
The bigger picture is the interest of Meru as a
allegations.
And
he needs to substantiate.
He knows
those are
allegations.
No, when you say
our time is up.
You should also tell us who is this.
So much.
You should tell us who is this.
Thank you so much.
They are judging based on the individual.
Gentlemen, our time is up. I'm calling for order. Our time is up.
You need to tell us who is this.
Thank you so much for your very well considered opinions on this matter.
You are not impeaching Kawira.
And we look forward to hosting you next time. Allow me to go through this editorial comment on the need for a more humane and fair taxation system in Kenya. Now, the methods employed by the Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, in recent weeks to ensure tax obedience have indeed generated quite some debate. While the government aims to boost revenue collection, it is crucial that the authority avoids harassing Kenyans and those visiting Kenya in the name of checking compliance. Now, the concerns about the current approach to tax collection are valid, and there should be room for more considerate methods. Harassment of travelers and tourists at the points of entry will have adverse effects on Kenya's reputation and discourage investment and tourism. KRA officials rummaging through personal luggage at JKIA in search of items that could possibly attract a few shillings in the form of taxation is obviously not the best route towards achieving the 4 trillion shilling revenue target. That kind of zeal should best be directed at addressing tax evasion by big businesses, mostly owned by the political elite and their cronies, countering rampant and obvious money laundering schemes, as well as fighting corruption in government. That said, it is equally important for Kenyan citizens to proactively appraise themselves of the current tax requirements and obligations to avoid unnecessary embarrassment or penalties. This entails staying informed about tax laws, filing deadlines, and any changes in tax regulations. By doing so, individuals can ensure they are fulfilling their obligations while also advocating for a more transparent, equitable, and respectful tax system. The Kenya Revenue Authority should implement measures that focus on education and awareness. One such measure is intentionally providing taxpayers with clear information about their obligations and rights, making it easier for them to understand and fulfill their tax responsibilities. Conducting abrupt and sometimes violent compliance swoops on unsuspecting people who have no idea what law they have defied is definitely not the way to go. KRA can do better. And that is a TV47 editorial comment this morning.